Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. Arteta in or Arteta out? That is the eternal question that seems to revolve around the bullshit that is Arsenal's hyperbole mouthy support. They lose 2-0 to Brentford. It's the end of the world. 2 hours ago, we're going to finish in the top 6 and challenge for the top 4. 2 hours later, you lose a game. Hashtag Arteta out. I mean, to be honest with you, sack Arteta, get Conte in, and then sack him in 6 months, and then get Zidane in, and then sack him. And then at some point, you might just switch something in your head and realise the real problem at Arsenal, what I said before Christmas when you were starting with your Arteta chat as well, is that your problem is not your manager. This happened with Wenger, it happened with Emery, it happened with Ljungberg, and it's happening again with Arteta. Your squad is weak. You have favourites, like your goalkeeper, who it's never their fault, and every time I watch you, he costs you a goal or two. Your defence is terrible, and yet you have actually got an apparently brilliant goalkeeper, a world-class left-back, a £50 million centre-back in Ben White, who, can I just say, I've got no issue with Ben White. My issue with Ben White is that the Arsenal fans who tell me that he's a better signing than Varane. He cost you £50 million. He's only ever played for Brighton. He was a reserve for the Euros England squad. And he's never a £50 million player and he's nowhere near the level of Varane. That's my issue with Ben White. I actually think he's an okay centre-back. And to be honest with you, teams like United and Liverpool were scouting him. I didn't want him at United because I wanted a world-class centre-back. And we've got that in Varane. I think Ben White could be a good signing for you. But if you thought he had a good game tonight, he didn't. None of your back four did. Both goals were totally preventable. What football team allows a throw-in to be thrown into your box and bounce? It's terrible. And then not win either of the balls where it's at head height. Defensively, Arsenal, they could have got a point tonight. They should have got a point tonight. They didn't do enough to score a goal at the other end. They never did enough to win the game, but they did enough to get a draw if they could defend, and they can't defend. They couldn't defend under Wenger, they couldn't defend under Emery, and they can't defend under Arteta. But of course, it'll be the manager's fault. It's always the manager's fault. That's what football's always been foretold. But the reality is, you bring Conte in, what is he going to do? Is he going to make that defence suddenly learn how to defend? Is he going to make that goalkeeper suddenly stop making stupid errors? Is he going to make your attack more fluid and cohesive? Is he going to make your team grow a backbone when they go 1-0 down? You're a mess. You're a mess. And look, you didn't have Lacazette and Aubameyang tonight, which is a big, big problem. Your next two games are Chelsea and Man City. I don't care whether you've got Aubameyang, Lacazette, Ian Wright's in his prime, Thierry Henry comes back in his prime. He's still not going to beat Chelsea and Man City, realistically. Now, football shocks can happen. That wasn't a shock tonight. Maybe Arsenal fans will go, well, Brentford beat us, maybe we can beat Chelsea. That wasn't a shock tonight. That was a defensive mishap. That was a game of two teams, Brentford at home, newly promoted in front of their fans for the first time in a year. They were pumped up, they were organised, and they were up for it. Arsenal were not organised because they haven't got the players to be organised. They were dreadful, absolutely dreadful. But the thing that pisses me off the most is that, oh, let's get rid of Arteta. Let's start moaning Arteta out. And as I said in the watch-along, to me, I feel that there are certain fans in their Arsenal fan base that actually, whether it's subconscious or not, they love to lose. It's like, I can moan. I was right. I can moan again. And it's like, how is any Arsenal coach ever going to succeed when they are performing under an owner who is incompetent, but they're also performing for fans who have no patience? You're in a shit sandwich. You've got pressure from the crappy owners, and they've got pressure from these fans who demand success now and almost don't look through history at rebuilds. Look at Klopp and Liverpool. It took a bit of time. Look at Ole and United. We're not even successful. We're not successful. We've won nothing. But it's taken 3 years to go from nowhere to third to second, from semi-finals to losing finals. That's progress. Yeah, there's bumps, but he's never lost the fan base enough for him to be in the trouble that Arteta's going to be in. And yet, we haven't actually achieved anything at United. Third and second is still a losing position. A Europa League final is still a losing position. And yet, that is progress. How could you ever get that patience at Arsenal? Arteta won you an FA Cup. I don't know how he did it. 8th twice isn't good enough, and an opening day loss to Brentford isn't good enough. But you sense that's him done now. You know, Arteta out. Let's get rid of him. Not really much talk about your owners. Not really much talk about the same thing happened with Emery. Not really much talk about your players. I mean, to be fair to Arteta, can he be at fault when Leno doesn't defend his front post on the first goal? Can Arteta be at fault when Leno gets bullied from a long throw and the defenders don't react to it? If Leno makes the save from the first one, which he should do, and they deal with a long throw in which they should do, they come away with a point. It's disappointing, but Arteta out's not trending. Look, I'm not saying Arteta definitely is the right man for Arsenal, but what I am saying is the hyperbole that surrounds Arsenal is never going to allow you to flourish. And all these fans who moan, get the manager out, how long's your next manager going to get? It seems to me every manager gets less and less, and yet the job becomes longer and longer. You know what I mean? Every manager gets less and less time. Not necessarily in how quick they get sacked, but in how quick fans start saying, get that manager, get that man. And once that ball's rolling, inevitably it's just going to get bigger and bigger with every bad result. The pressure's there. It's an intense pressure at Arsenal. They've never been so far away from where they need to be. They've never been so far away. And yet managers are getting less and less time. It's a contradiction. It doesn't make any sense. You need a long time, but the fans are giving you less time. Oh, less time, longer time. What would it take for Arsenal to be successful, I suppose, is the most important question. And the most important answer to that is proper ownership, a hell of a lot of money, and removal of a lot of players. Like, a lot of players. And, look, I don't know whether Arteta's the right manager. Maybe he isn't, but I don't think he's the problem. I don't think a good manager... You could get Klopp, both of them. You could get Klopp and Klopp. They ain't going to solve that problem without about 10 players going out and probably 7 or 8 players coming in. And 2 or 3 years. Can Arsenal fans take that time? Can Arsenal fans be that patient? Can Arsenal fans take 2 years or 3 years to get back to where you need to be? I don't think they have the patience. I think the frustration is too much. We'll see. But I tell you what, you may as well go on holiday, because I don't think your season starts until Norwich on September the 11th, because you've got Chelsea and Man City next, and then it's an international break. And you will take advantage of having no European football. You will. But that's not going to happen for another month. The most important thing is Brentford. Fantastic. Well done. Keeper was fantastic. Leno was shit. Keeper for Brentford was absolutely fantastic. Organised, well organised. First game in front of the fans. Very excited. Very focused. Very ready. Man United played Brentford in pre-season. I didn't think they played very, very well. It just shows you pre-season means nothing, because I watched United play Brentford and I thought, poor, very poor. Didn't like the way they were set up. Tonight, well organised, played for each other, fully ready, fully focused. Look, on another day, they might have lost that from a scrappy Arsenal goal, because Arsenal had a lot of possession. But realistically, I think on another day, that could have been 0-0. They took their chances. Arsenal didn't defend well. They defended well. Well done to Brentford. Keep your eye on them. I still think they'll go down. But look, fairy tale start for them. Let's see. You know, maybe Brentford are going to be the big unknown. Maybe Brentford are going to be the Sheffield United a couple of years ago. But they were fantastic tonight and they deserved the win. And Arsenal deserved the loss because they still can't defend. And is that on Arteta? Well, of course it is. He's the manager. But the reality is, I can't remember when Arsenal defended well. I mean, you're going back to the days of Tony Adams. They've not defended well for a very, very long time. But you know what? You know what the headlines will be. Arteta out. And to me, Arteta out is that much of the problem when the problem's that big. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, smash a like on the video. And I know there will be a lot of Arsenal fans out there who have a brain and who actually think about things and go, you know what, this isn't a short-term problem. This is a massive problem that's not just about the manager. It's about the players. It's about the ownership. It's about the vision. It's about patience. But Arsenal have become that club. When you win, you're going to win the league. And when you lose, get the manager out. And that's not sustainable. I know it's great for views on certain channels, but that's not sustainable as a fan base, and you need to resist that, because you either make a change and then say the next 3 years are about a rebuild, or you stick with the manager now and you go the next 3 years are about a rebuild. But you can't keep doing this hyperbole reaction, because you're just getting worse and worse with it. And at what point do you start realising that your fan base is actually contributing, because you won't give anybody any time, and yet you need loads of time? Thanks for watching. Speak to you all in a bit.